Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with a recent physique update from our current reigning Arnold Classic champion, Derek Lunsford. On the left is Derek is 6 weeks out from this year's Arnold Classic, and on the right, he's 6 weeks out from this year's Pittsburgh Pro. And of course, he looks a lot tighter on the right. Derek pretty much kept it pretty tight following the Arnold Classic and is pretty much going to cruise into this year's Pittsburgh Pro. Early prediction, I think Derek is going to walk home with the win. At least for this year, I don't really see anyone beating Derek that isn't Hadi Chupin or Samson Dowda. Now, I'm not predicting Derek to lose to those guys, but I think the top three is kind of locked in, at least for this year. And going into the Arnold, a lot of people were worried about how is Derek going to look working with a new coach for the first time? Is he going to come in a little bit off? And I would say Chris Aceto and Derek hit it perfectly. And they're only going to get better as time goes on. So based off everything that I'm seeing right now at about 5.5, 6 weeks out, we should be seeing an improved version of Derek. And he could possibly be in New York as well. Now next up, we do have some recent updates from the mutant Nick Walker. And I guess with everyone posting so many impressive updates, Nick just has to be a part of the party. And he does look very, very impressive. Honestly, there's a lot of talk going around about Nick. He's not the most aesthetic guy. He could possibly be getting pushed down in placings in the very near future, but Nick is possibly on track to bring his all-time best to this year's Pittsburgh Pro. And Nick is a guy that doesn't have the smallest waist, of course, but I was actually very impressed how his waist looked in the back double and the rear lat spread. Actually has a pretty good shape. He doesn't look too boxy in the rear lat like some guys do, but still going to be very interesting to see him up against some of these more aesthetic physiques. And he could challenge me saying only Samson and Hadi is going to beat Derek this year. Maybe Nick Walker can shock us. Maybe he walks away with that crown at the Pittsburgh Pro. Maybe. And next up, we have a recent physique update from Hunter Labrada, a guy we haven't really seen many updates from this year. Hunter looks massive here, but also looks to be a little bit soft, so I would assume he is currently in a health phase or on very low doses right now. And I've heard a rumor that Hunter is dealing with some shoulder discomfort and could possibly be taking the year off or at least competing towards the later end of the year. Regardless, Hunter is still working out right now and still pushing a decent amount of weight. I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but I'm pretty sure that it is. But I'm one of the few guys that's actually a fan of Hunter. This guy has slowly been improving from year to year, and even over the last year, he has somewhat regained control of his midsection. Hunter has the size, conditioning, and also a underrated poser in my personal opinion. Hopefully we get to see Hunter on stage soon. He's typically competing around Tampa or Texas. Now next up, we have a recent physique update from Quinton Eriya Quinn Beastwood, and he announced today that prep has started. As far as I know, Quint has not announced the show and also has not announced that he's working with a coach. But he used to work with Dorian Hamilton. They're pretty good friends, so I always assume that Dorian keeps an eye on him. But Quint has been pretty quiet since the whole Matt Jansen situation went down. He posted a couple of updates here and there, but I'm looking forward to seeing the improvements he's made over this past offseason and also what show he's doing. Now switching over to 212, we have a recent physique update from our current reigning 212 Olympia champion, Keone Pearson. And I believe Keone said this update is actually 5 days old and it is a fasted check-in. And no offense to the other 212 competitors, of course, but I truly wonder, how do they feel when they see updates of Keone Pearson? Because obviously as a competitor, you would look at the update and be like, all right, where can I beat this guy? And honestly, the only thing that people have over Keone at this point is muscle maturity. Keone has great conditioning. But one of the main reasons it's going to be hard to beat Keone, or he may not lose in 212 again, is because of his structure, because of his shape. You can't outstructure or outshape Keone. And next up, we have a recent guest posing from none other than Mike Sommerfeld, our current reigning Arnold Classic champion and runner-up at last year's Olympia. Still a little bit of an argument going around about people saying that Mike looks like a bodybuilder, even though Tyler Mannion came out himself and said that is a ridiculous statement. And I think people just have to remember, classic physique is not meant for guys to look like Arnold and Robbie Robinson. If that was the case, Wesley Vissers and Breon Ainsley would be winning all the titles. And yes, I have said this before. And I think the reason that a lot of people make this statement is just because Mike is very, very complete. But I also believe that is why he is so successful, why he won the Arnold Classic, and why he was runner-up at last year's Olympia. Very, very complete from top to bottom. And Mike is still a fairly young guy. He could still have more muscle maturity, especially in the upper body from the front. But again, a very, very tough guy to beat. And I'm excited to see what he brings to this year's O, because it's going to be a true battle between him and this guy. And of course, as we get closer to the Pittsburgh Pro, Terrence is going to look better week after week. And I was a little bit harsh on Terrence earlier this prep, taking a look at his updates, but I continue to forget. This is a guy that can change extremely fast. I'm not sure exactly what show it was. I believe it was an Arnold Classic, maybe 2021. He posted an updated 2 weeks out and looked like 6 weeks out. And then he came in looking flawless and won the show. So sometimes Terrence doesn't kick it into high gear until later in the prep, but he looks crazy here. Now let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this legendary bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. And if you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Keone from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.